The character of Macbeth. The date of Macbeth, like that of many of Shakespeare's plays, is not beyond all dispute. But there are good reasons for believing that Macbeth was written in 1605 and performed as the royal play of Macbeth at Hampton Court in 1606 as a private performance for James I of England and his brother-in-law, Christian, King of Denmark. In 1603, James VI of Scotland became James I of Scotland, England and Ireland. James was a vain man, undignified, scholarly, but a generous patron of the arts. He said in his talk, The Divine Right of Kings, "Kings are not only God's lieutenants upon earth and sit upon God's throne, even by God themselves they are called gods." Well, from 1603, James touched people against an evil skin disease called scrofula, present-day tuberculosis. His English counsellors wanted him to touch for the evil. James was against it, and he wanted them to show his virtue would strengthen his title to his throne. James agreed in principle, as it was an ancient usage, and for the good of his subjects, he resolved to give it a trial by only way of prayer, and everybody else had to pray with him. Then he would touch the sick folk. Malcolm discusses this with Macduff in Act 4, Scene 3. Macduff: "What's the disease he means? 'Tis called the evil. He cures hanging a golden stamp about their necks, put on with holy prayers." The king's interest in witchcraft and heresy is also catered for in the play, as his life had been threatened with a group of witches in 1591 in Scotland, and of course in 1605 the gunpowder plot which had sought to blow up his government, undoubtedly part of the concern in Macbeth with witchcraft and equivocation. Here again, the porter's speech in Act 2, Scene 3 relates to these issues, which the audience, the nobles from Scotland, and particularly King James knew about. The porter: "Here's a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have old turning the key. Who's there? Who's there? Faith, here's an equivocator that could swear in both scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equivocate to heaven. Oh, come in, equivocator!" Well, an equivocator is probably a reference, and here is a solid reference to the Jesuit Henry Garnet, who went on trial in March 1606 for his part in the gunpowder plot. Equivocated, of course, that is giving evidence which amounted to perjury. And again, treason enough, equivocate to heaven. Another reference to Garnet, who was found guilty of treason and hanged. And I'm sure that James and the whole court were roaring with laughter at the thought of Garnet being hanged. If we look at the porter's speech in prose, it's full of wordplay and associations that are a commentary on the main action of the play. He is indeed, and he thinks he is, porter of Hellgate. He's totally drunk. And if Macbeth is seen as a devil, his stupidity effectively delayed the discovery. So that with his humour and stumblings and comic effect, dramatic irony sets in here, and we have a degree of tension that is built up in the audience. Some historians say that the porter knew about the murder, and this, when examined, is a gruesome attempt to cover up for Macbeth and give a contemporary and universal significance to Macbeth's crime.